having internet issues right now, so I'm recording this video on my phone and playing the video on my computer.
Hi, I'm going to be reading a story called Train Tracks. It's a short story I did in high school. It's pretty long, so bear with me. But anyways, my grandpa lived in Lebanon, New Jersey, and as you know, there was a earthquake over there in that city a couple days ago. So, excuse me, my phone's dinging too much. But I'm going to be reading you a story now. It's called The Train. The sky's light gave my brothers a soft pink glow on their faces. The smell of chimney smoke and spruce lingered through the air. Children in their front yards screamed and ran after one another. Behind a tree and covering his eyes, he slowly counted. 1, 2, 3, ready or not, here I come. And the others scattered frantically, trying to find a good place to hide, like bees around a hive. Some children swung high in their wooden swings, demanding to be pushed higher in their squealing voices. While going up the steepest hill in my grandpa's neighborhood, we'd meet some other kids who were bike riding, struggling to keep pedaling and not stop. At the end of the hill, there were ancient railroad tracks and a meadow that stretched out far beyond the eye's limit of seeing anything beyond, making it impossible to see if its beauty ever ended. We saw deer in the same spot, standing near some bushes not too far from the tracks. We stayed very still when we saw one, as still as the shy deer among the tall grass. The beady eyes and iridescent glow on its fur soon vanished into the bushes. We walked on and carried pennies in our pockets until it overflowed like too much water filled into a cup.
This is when my dryer is ringing.
Excuse me if that's my dryer ringing. Okay. Saying it's done. Hold on a minute. Okay. I'm gonna get back to it. Finally, we got up to the tracks and placed our pennies upon them. Then went aside, trying patiently to wait for the train to come. My older brother would put his ear down onto the screaming, hot tracks and listen for the roar of the train. He'd yell back to us with excitement in his voice, "Hey, it's coming!" Then my other brother and I would go running to a certain point on the tracks and listen to the intriguing faint sound of the train. My brothers would kindly take my hand and lead me away from the tracks before the trains would come. We stayed on our territory, and the train crossing bells made their usual piercing noise. We'd look to the right and left and wonder where the traveling light would come from. We'd cover our cold ears and scrunch our faces up when the trains would race by and some of the pennies would fly off the tracks, like frisbees thrown wrong. Our clothes felt like they were going to fly off our body because of the immense speed of the locomotive. The train honked at us like a geese's unfriendly greeting. We waved at it, not knowing what or who we were waving to. Our little hearts were beating faster than the train's speed, and our eyes impatiently wondered when to see the last box. As soon as we saw the last boxcar, we'd go running every which way, crash into each other to look for our flat, smashed pennies. Some were found with Lincoln's face gone, some were torn a bit, some were even folded in half, and some we could not find at all. After we gathered our pennies, we exchanged them to see their unique personalities. It was as if the train transformed their worth in gold for us, since every one of them looked different. Then we crossed the tracks further and went on a lonely dirt road with a green meadow still surrounding us. We never felt scared to go by ourselves because we had each other to look after. Along the road we picked raspberries, violets, and sunflowers. Our faces and hands were sticky with red juice and dead, crumpled-up flowers. My brothers kept running ahead of me, and I always had to catch up with them. I wasn't scared when they were ahead, since we had been on this road many times. Like a Greek iron statue, our mom stood there with her hands on her hip and specifically said, "Boys, you make sure Debbie sticks with you." But I knew how I could get them in trouble and got revenge by tattletaling on them. At the end of the road there were two brown glimmering horses bigger than I. They were taller and broader than the grown-ups I was used to seeing. We pretended they were our horses since we gave them some names. They were enclosed in a cruel wooden fence and were never allowed to roam free. We imagined letting the horses free and the owner chasing us down the road like the tale of Mr. McGregor and Peter Rabbit. We agreed the road would not feel the same to us if we did set them free. My brothers boosted me up to the horses to give them their usual treat, carrots and pats on their noses. They would always make their neighs and nudge each other as if they were communicating to each other in another language. We had to go home as soon as we saw the sun's face getting closer to meet the moon. We said bye to our friends among the houses on the hill and ran down the steepest hill in my grandpa's neighborhood in Lebanon, New Jersey. We washed our hands in the cool waters of the creek near his home. We put all our pennies in a vinegar jar so they would be pretty by morning. At dinner, we talked all at once, discussing what we wanted to do with our new jewelry. When we woke by the yellow blinding light shining through our windows, excuse me, our mom would help us make dozens of bracelets, earrings, and necklaces. The house wasn't too far from the ancient railroad tracks. Every time we heard its welcoming greeting, our curiosity made us wonder where it was going and where we were going. This short story is dedicated to my grandpa, Reggie Neal. He's my mom's dad. He passed away in 1992. May his memory be a blessing. Love y'all. Bye. I hope you liked that.
So I accidentally said the train tracks when the title is the train. Okay. When my internet starts working, I'll try to upload the video. But my internet is acting glitchy, I don't know, and I don't know why. Okay, I'm gonna upload this video now. Alright, bye-bye, y'all.